blind buying. It's like the Russian roulette of fragrance shopping. And I have to say, I am a diehard blind buyer. I blind buy all the time. I've definitely been burnt many a times, but I've also discovered some incredible fragrances that I would have never otherwise discovered had I not blind bought them. So it balances out. It's a little bit of a toss-up, and I think in the end it's worth it, for me at least. So in this video, I'm gonna share some of my favorite blind buys ever, like my most successful blind buys ever, and a few of my worst. So if that sounds interesting to you guys, then keep on watching. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Yana, this is The Scented. We talk about all things fragrance, so make sure that you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like the video, and become a friend of the show. We'll do the fun fragrance things together. Today's video is an exciting one. I have more good ones than bad ones. I just want to keep it on the positive side today. And also these are the ones that like really stood out to me. So I didn't, honestly, like most of my collection, at least half of my collection is blind bought, but these are the ones that were like top notch. And then some of the worst ones are like really low notch. So you guys know one of my absolute favorites, Guerlain La Petite Robe Noire au Fraiche. It's ticking all the boxes for me. Budget friendly? Yes. Smells good? Yes. Longevity? Yes. All the things. This was like 40 bucks. Like, it's still readily available. I tried to keep this list to like non-discontinued fragrances. I hear this one's discontinued, but I don't think it is. I still see it everywhere. Anyway, you guys can find it on Fragrance Net. They always have it. This one is a nice, fresh, light, easy wearing citrusy fragrance with cherry, pistachio, almond. It's so easy. It's my dumb reach. It's my go-to. I always grab this when I don't know what to grab. And it turned out to be one of my best blind buys of all time. I bought it because it was cheap. Literally, that was the only reason why I bought it. I saw it, I liked the green bottle. I wanted something from the La Petite Robe Noire collection. I wasn't crazy about the original one at the time, but I was like, oh, Fraiche sounds fresh. So picked it up and I fell in love. I didn't like it right away. I thought it was a little bit boring at first, but it took me like 3 or 4 wearings and it really started to grow on me. Now this is like one of the fragrances that I'm most attached to in my collection. This is my second bottle. I completely wore out my first 50 ml bottle, got the 100 ml, and now I kind of feel like I might need a backup of this one as well. The next one is Maison Lancome Jasmins Marzipane. This one is still available. I think Lancome was running a sale recently. Anyway, they have sales all the time. This one's out of stock a lot, but it was recently back in stock at Fragrance Buy, so I got myself a backup bottle. I do decant this one, so it gets used up quite quickly. Like, I did not wear all of this. And this smells like a very sweet, almost like if there was a bubblegummy association with jasmine. I know that everybody always talks about bubblegummy tuberose. If there was such a thing as bubblegummy jasmine, this would be it. It's not offensive in any way. It's sweet and it almost has something of like a juicy fruit vibe to it, but it also has almond wood and vanilla. It's yummy, it's sweet, it's rich. This one is cold weather only for me. I can't wear it in the heat, but this one gets me tons of compliments. I fell in love with this as soon as I smelled it. Like, there was something about this that was so addictive. I smelled it right away, and even though it's such a strong fragrance and it packs a punch and it's really sweet, I just fell in love with it. It's like a candied, delicious jasmine scent. So yeah, I have a backup bottle as well, and it's one of my absolute favorites. Then Dolce & Gabbana, the classic red cap, vintage vibes all the way, but still very modern at the same time. It's fresh, it smells kind of laundry-esque, it has aldehydes in here, and floral. Like, it smells spicy, laundry-esque, and floral. And this was the fragrance that made me learn that I actually really like a carnation note in fragrances. This one has a strong carnation note. It has this spiciness to it that almost makes me think of cinnamon. It tingles, but in the best way possible. It smells airy and breezy and a little bit even herbaceous. I think there's basil in here as well. herbaceous, spicy, floral. It's so warm. It's a very, very warm fragrance. Like when I saw that it had aldehydes, I thought it would be like a soapy fragrance, but it's not really soapy. And the way that this transition of this fragrance is what got me, because it starts off like bright, clean, laundry-esque-ish. Then it develops into a rich, warm, spicy amber scent. It's very sexy. The development on this fragrance is like a complete 180. This is not a 180, this is a slope. Imagine a 180. It's a 180. It turns into like a really warm, woody, ambery, spicy vanilla scent. Really, really sexy. Like that one took me by surprise. That one was one of my best discoveries. So yeah, and I couldn't smell it anywhere. I didn't see it anywhere in stores. Fully blind bought it. Didn't even pay very little for it. Like it wasn't even like a steal of a deal or anything, but I'm really happy that I did get it. Next awesome blind buy is Nina Ricci Rose Extase. This is a sweet, jammy, raspberry rose fragrance. It's very, very long lasting. Like this one, even though it's an eau de toilette, lasts all day on my skin. It's a very flirty, sweet, yummy rose fragrance. It's been compared to Delina. I don't really see the resemblance with Delina. It doesn't have that tartness. I mean, I guess the rose is similar. It's a similar type of rose scent, but other than that, like I wouldn't call it a dupe in any way. It's its own fragrance. I can really smell the raspberry in here. It's just yummy. It's delectable. It's a jammy, delicious, sweet rose with incredible longevity. It's very flirty, it's very girly, and it's fabulous. And I think that one was like 40 bucks or something, 40 or 50 bucks. It's a really good price for that type of fragrance, and the fact that it performs all day. Like for me, it performs all day. I get, at the very least, I get 8 hours. If I wear that fragrance one day, I can't wear any other fragrance because that one's still going strong like the entire day. Then we have Zadig and Voltaire, This Is Her. This was a complete blind buy. I stumbled upon it randomly and I was like, I'm intrigued by the notes. I saw that it had chestnut, whipped cream, and sandalwood, and it sounded like something that I would enjoy because I like creamy notes. I'm like not a huge vanilla fan, but I like notes that give me a creamy effect, a fluffy sort of marshmallowy effect. So that's what pushed me to buy this. Plus the packaging, it looks like a little milky iceberg. I was all about it, and it didn't disappoint. And it actually reminds me a little bit along the lines of like, if Bal d'Afrique was a sandalwood fragrance, it would be like this. It's really creamy, really truly like whipped cream. There's a soft nuttiness to this. It's not like a roasted or burnt nuttiness. It's all milky. It's very, very well represented in the bottle. Like this milky effect is exactly what this fragrance gives you. I really like this one. This one's a really long lasting fragrance, but it's a little bit more intimate. Like it doesn't project like crazy. So this one would be a perfect one to wear like to a workplace where you're technically not allowed to wear fragrance. I'm actually planning on doing a video of fragrances to wear where you aren't really allowed to wear fragrance. I'm gonna come up with a better name for the video. That doesn't sound very catchy, but basically fragrances that you can wear where you're not allowed to wear fragrances. I have a whole list and I'm still working on it. This would be in there for sure, but it does last a long time. Like it sticks around on the skin for a long time. It just doesn't like project like crazy. So yeah, it's a really nice comforting scent. I really like it. Opposite end of the spectrum, loud, performs, gets attention, not safe for work. This is Gucci Rush. I have become obsessed with this since I got it in the summer. Total blind buy. I completely slept on it. This fragrance has been around for ages. I never smelled it. Like, I think I smelled it a long, long time ago in my teens at a boutique and like didn't really understand it. This smells to me like a plastic peach. A delicious plastic peach. New electronics. That's that plasticky smell. The presentation, I don't love. I think this is probably one of the worst bottles. It looks cheap and weird, but the smell is incredible. I love this. It has coriander, peach, whatever. You guys don't really need me to read you the nose. It smells like a plastic delicious peach and new electronics, basically that type of plasticky scent. I think this is perfect for going out. This is a perfect clubbing scent. This is a perfect attention grabbing scent. It's bold. It's gonna get people to notice you. And it's a real compliment getter. Like for me, I get a lot of compliments on this fragrance. There's something so addictive about it, like so addictive. I can't say it's a sweet fragrance because there's patchouli in here. It grounds it, but it's not a dirty patchouli. It's just grounding. It's just kind of woody, simple grounding. And when I say plasticky, I don't mean like a Play-Doh smell or a powdery smell or anything burnt or weird. It's really, it smells like when you open up a new package of something, kind of like that. So anyway, that one I completely fell in love with, but this one for some reason I don't want to wear in the winter. This one's to me more of a warm weather fragrance. Like this to me is mini skirts and fake lashes and just like, you know, that kind of look. And finally, probably one of my more recent discoveries, Mont Blanc Signature. I don't know why I keep this on. I just like the look of the tag. It's like it has a necklace. We're gonna keep it on. This reminds me of Campino candies. You know those little hard candies that are like orange creamsicle flavor? Kind of like that, except if it were clementine. Like this is more clementine-y, creamy, exactly basically like a Campino candy. That's what this smells like to me. And I actually bought this because Paulina Shaw recommended it and I got really intrigued. So this is a little bit of a YouTube made me buy it sort of blind buy. So in my mind, I had already pictured that it would be kind of a fluffy, citrusy scent. But as soon as I smelled it, I was like, Campino. This is exactly what it is. A little bit nostalgic because I haven't seen those candies around for a really long time. But if you guys know them, that's kind of what this smells like. And those were all of my best blind buys. So those are the ones that like really stood out to me that I was like, I opened it, I smelled it, I was like, great success. Like this worked out all the way. Now let's move on to my worst blind buys. Okay, we're gonna start with a cheapie. And this is Cuir de Nuit, and this is from Yves Rocher. I bought this last year. I just decided I would buy a whole bunch of their like random fragrances. This one did not live up to my expectations at all. I bought this because I saw notes of chocolate and coffee, and I had been really wanting a coffee fragrance at that time. I smell no coffee. It's kind of a dusty, weird vanilla smell. It's very obscure. This is like, I feel like if this was like Black Opium with like a really cheap fragrance and really, really watered down, it would smell like this. So not good at all. And yeah, like I don't even know what I'm gonna do with this. So that sucks. Then we have Womanity. Womanity was probably the biggest bust of my life, except that I got to learn. I got to learn about a type of smell, and I learned that there is such a thing as fishiness in perfumes. This is weird. Like look, I'm sure it has a time and a place, and it was really fun to connect this with Disney characters when we did our Disney fragrances video with my friend Julie, and she really likes this fragrance. However, to me, it smells like fish, and on my skin, I smell caviar. And it makes me think of like, okay, we eat a lot of caviar as Russian people around New Year's, and it's a really great time. We pull out all the stops and we get all the fancy caviar, and you eat the little caviar sandwiches or the little crepes with caviar, and it's amazing, and it's like bougie AF. But this smells like spoiled caviar. Like this smells like low quality caviar. It doesn't smell like the good expensive kind. This smells like budget, like cheap Russian deli caviar. Like not the good kind. It doesn't smell like the good kind. And I wouldn't want to smell like the good kind. I don't want to smell like caviar. I want to eat it. You know? If you know, you know. Also fig. And it gives it this weird metallic-y thing. I thought I liked fig. I love fig as a snack. Again, New Year's, very popular. I love figs with cheese. It's great. I realize there are a lot of foods that I enjoy that are super bougie and delicious that I don't want to put on myself, because if I smell like them, I don't smell bougie. I smell like like I've been living on the beach as a beach bum. This is the smell of a beach bum living their best life, I think. I could be wrong. To me, this doesn't smell good at all. Fig, caviar, metallic-y, weird. Then we have Amouage Figment Woman. I bought this because it was $100 on Fragrance Net, and I thought, when is an Amouage ever $100? I don't care which one it is, I'm gonna buy it. And I did. And I probably shouldn't have. It's not a terrible fragrance. It's just like a very humid white floral, very dense, thick. And I feel like I would get a headache. Smelling it out of here actually smells kind of nice. But I just don't think I would wear it. Like it's like a pulpy, rich, like white floral. It's just too much. It's just too much for me. I feel like I have a hair in my eye. I think I got it out. If there's a hair in my eye and you guys can see it, we're gonna have to roll with it because I still feel like there's a hair in my eye. This next one is probably my worst blind buy of all time, and it is Mancera's Instant Crush. I thought it would be easy, no-brainer. I like Baccarat Rouge. This is compared to Baccarat Rouge. People say it's a little bit more woody. I was like, 100% I'm in. There's no way I won't like this. I'm not gonna spray it. This to me is downright heinous and offensive. I'm sure that I'm not smelling what the rest of you guys are smelling that like this, because this is a very sharp chemical mess, as I find with a lot of Mancera fragrances. There are some that are really good. I really like Velvet Vanilla. I really like Wild Python. There are a few that I do really like. This is not one of them. This to me smells very, very sharp. I used to have Mancera Pearl, and Mancera Pearl had this weird synthetic green scent that just wouldn't go away. And I think that it's like what's in here too. Right now it's not as offensive just smelling it out of the cap. It just smells very salty, but I don't know, the more I smell it, I get the sharpness. I am afraid to spray this now. Like this one hurts. It hurts bad. So that one was probably my worst blind buy of all time because it is truly painful. We have one more, and it is Kayali's Deja Vu White Flower. This was a total bust for me. Initially, I really liked how it smelled. And it smelled like a really beautiful, sophisticated white floral scent. And I do tend to like white florals, so I'll blind buy them. And then I end up burning myself. Like in this case, it's really, really pretty in the opening, and for the first like 10-15 minutes, I really like it. But when it goes on my skin, something happens and there's this weird sharpness, and the patchouli is very harsh, it's dirty, it doesn't smell good, and it takes over. And it takes away from the nice scent. And I think it's just the way that it develops on my skin. It's also a little bit too dense. It's just too white floral for me right now. Like I'm smelling it now and I don't get that sharpness, but on my skin it happens. And I think it just could be like, it just doesn't agree with me. Like we can't be friends. It doesn't agree with my skin chemistry, and that's all there really is to it. There are a lot of other really nice Kayali fragrances. I really like the musk one. That one I talked about in my underrated fragrance video. I'll link it up here for you guys. But yeah, sometimes it just comes down to skin chemistry. So blind buying, even though very fun and a great game of Russian roulette with fragrances, you get the bullet sometimes, you know? I guess just be mindful when you're blind buying. They're not always going to be successful. You are going to get burned. It's inevitable. The more you blind buy, the more your chances are of getting burned. So that's a gamble that I'm willing to take. I think it's still super fun, and I keep blind buying forever, but I will never encourage you guys to blind buy. So if you guys ever ask me, should I blind buy this or should I blind buy that? I'm going to tell you guys, don't blind buy, because I just can't take that responsibility and I can't dirty my conscience that way. So yeah, don't blind buy is the official statement here. That's it for today's video. Comment down below and let me know some of your best and worst blind buys. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.